is Sakura actually useless? Yes.
Something amazing's about to happen! Yes, I think that too!
You're about to get a welcome you'll never forget. What I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in, but not getting. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night I got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here on screen. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I get it. Hey, Dad, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for it.
Welcome back to some more Camp Geek Squad. Thank you all so much for all your support recently. I've now reached 188 subscribers. Now I remember about 3 weeks ago, I promised you all if I got to 200 by the end of June, I'll give you all a little treat. I can't remember exactly what the treat is, but don't worry. Whatever it is, I promise I'll do it as long as we get to 200 by then. I hope you guys enjoyed the 2 videos done last week. The Lucifer only got 9, but I can understand that I wasn't the best, so I'm sorry about giving you low quality work. But the Percy Jackson got 35 in 6 days, so thank you guys so much. Now, I've been suffering a bit recently with mental health, PTSD, anxiety, etc. So this is a bit late job, you know. It's 1 o'clock on Wednesday in the morning. But to be fair, I did start gathering all the images and clips and stuff earlier, but loading and kept failing. Anyway, now as you can tell by today's title, it is Sakura actually useless. Now, for those of you who haven't watched Naruto, literally watch it. I know it's 500 episodes and a lot of filler, but it is the best anime I've watched, and I really like some anime, but in my opinion, it's like the best overall anime I've watched. Having said that, I haven't watched all of Dragon Ball or all of Bleach or all of One Piece. I've watched quite a bit of Dragon Ball though, not the original, so I have to go back and watch that. I'm watching One Piece now in sub. I've watched Naruto in dub. I prefer watching in dub, but I have started to get into sub recently. Anyway, with all that over the way. Now, there's a meme going around that Sakura is useless. Now, we're going to discuss, is it actually true? And that's simple. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, is Sakura useless? Yes, she is. But that is only if we're talking about original series Naruto. If we're talking about pre-Shippuden Naruto, she is useless. She's literally achieved nothing. We'll go into more in depth of that later. Well, in literally a second. But I'm also going to cover Shippuden, Sakura, and War Arc Sakura. Now, for those of you wondering, though War Arc's part of Shippuden, yes it is. But Sakura and Kakashi and lots of other characters improved drastically from the start of Shippuden to the War Arc. For example, Kakashi learns Kamui during Shippuden, or we see him use it, but there's a strain on his body. He can manage about 1, 2, maybe 3, max. 4, I'd say. But then by the War Arc, he's spamming Kamui and lots of other jutsus that wore him out within a short amount of time. So really, there's lots of improvements. So we'll talk about all that. But in the original series, she is useless. I'm sorry, all Sakura fans, but she is useless in the original series. The following is essentially everything she did useful before Shippuden. And it wasn't even that good. Look, she's fighting against, the Sound Village people in the tuning arc. She gets her hair grabbed, she cuts her hair, she gets all angry. But, you cutting your hair isn't going to solve it. You could have stabbed her in the leg. And she's literally she's literally thinking about how useless she is. Yes, you are Sakura. Rock Lee had to jump in and save you. Naruto and Sasuke are always saving your ass. You could have just stabbed her. I don't know. I'm not a ninja. I don't know. But at least in this moment she can think about how far behind Sasuke and Naruto she is. Look, she's having a flashback to she was useless in the Land of Waves arc. Like, what did she do? She stood in front and looked petrified. She stood in front of a grown-ass guy who probably was more useful than her. I mean, she's pretty accurate with these, but it's practically useless. Useless, but she can do a substitute jutsu. She can jump down, but not dodge them. But I mean, at least she can tank them. One thing you can notice about Sakura is she can tank hits like that, and apparently bite people. But that's about as much use as she actually is. You see, she gets beat, and then the next best thing is her fight against Ino, where she drew. Even if she won that fight, everyone else at the tuning exams would smoke her. Even the other losers. Her and Ino are the worst ones there. But also in that fight there, Osuma's team, I can't remember what team that is, do a better job than her. Then Neji turns up, and then, Sasuke wakes up and smokes them like they're nothing. And now I know that's due to the curse mark, but still. By this point, Naruto and Sasuke have achieved so much, and she's achieved nothing. And even people who got barely any screen time was probably more effective in the original series. Everyone who went on the Sasuke retrieval arc, they went toe-to-toe with people who took out 2 of like the personal guard of the Hokage. And each one stood against them on a 1-to-1. But Sakura didn't do anything. In actual Shippuden is when things get a little different. Next up we cover Shippuden Sakura. Now, Sakura, is she useless in Shippuden? No. Now this is after the time skip. She had years to train with Tsunade. Yeah, so her healing's a lot better. She's physically really strong. Similar to Tsunade, she can break boulders. She can crack the ground. You know, if you saw the fight against Kakashi, her and Naruto vs Kakashi, you will understand what I'm talking about. And so she really has grown. Now, in comparison to Naruto and Sasuke, she's still useless. And she always will be, right? It's a bit of a waste. But now, she is probably better than most other ninjas in the village. Now, I would say there are some ninjas still above her or around her level. Until around Sasori fight, right? I think Neji, potentially Rock Lee, is up there. I think those two. I think Hinata's starting to get around that level. She's getting her confidence, etc. And Shinzo. I think those are just a few, some of them around that level. I don't think Kiba is. I don't think Tenten is. I don't think Ino is. Shikamaru, definitely at that level. Choji, arguably. So she's now one of the better ninjas instead of from being one of the worst. Where she really cements herself as one of the better of those of her age group and even of the village is when she took on Sasori. Now, yes, she had help, but she did beat Sasori, and she was smart enough, skilled enough, and strong enough to beat Sasori. Now, I don't think she could take on most other Akatsuki members. I think she could have handled Hidan, but I don't think she would have been able to take on Deidara. I don't think she would have been able to take on Kisume. I don't think she would be able to definitely wouldn't be able to take on Pain, as we already know. I think she would have got murdered by Itachi if Itachi was actually evil. I think actually evil Itachi would have killed all of, the Konoha 12, including Naruto, up until, I would say up until the war arc. He would take, maybe Sage no Naruto, maybe he struggles a bit with that, but, but even the rest of them, Deidara, Kakazu, Hidan, Kona, the one who works with Pain, I think she can't handle any of those. But having said that, they are still all at least Kage level, or at least Sanin level, high Sanin level, I think most of Akatsuki are above Tsunade, around Tsunade level, Tsunade Jiraiya level. So the fact that she can beat one of them shows a great testament, since especially since Sasori is a very powerful member of the Akatsuki. He's not one of the weaker ones. I just think it was a better matchup than some of the others might have been. So she's definitely not useless, but you could argue she's not really useful. Now, where she really comes into her own is the War Arc, which we'll cover in just a second. Now, War Arc Sakura is in a league of her own compared to the rest. I would say she's overtaken all the other Konoha 12. Arguably, Shikamaru is around that level more due to intelligence, but yet again, compared to Naruto and Sasuke, she is absolutely useless. They would both absolutely clutter. In fact, I think Naruto and Sasuke at this point can take on most of Konoha 12 as a team. Like, Naruto can take on one team, Sasuke can take on one team. Heck, just before they get their power-ups, I mean, 6th page, that's the version I'm talking about. 6th Paths version can take on the whole entire Shinobi forces easy. And I think pre-hand, they can take on Konoha 12 easy as well. Now, I would say arguably her best feats during the war are the day one of the war. She spent all the time healing and healing and healing and looking after other shinobi. Now that is a mental tax, seeing people you know and even people you don't know, but seeing people who are fighting on your soil coming in injured. You don't know how your team's going out there apart from what they tell you. And it takes chakra to heal people. And she's got quite a bit of chakra reserves. Now, compared to Naruto and Sasuke, not so much. Her chakra control is also great. But let's not remember, that's her only feat. She can do a summon. I can't remember the summon's name off the top of my head. Let me just Google it. But it's the same as Tsunade's summon. It's the same. It's the same one. It's that massive slug that can split into several pieces. And she summoned it when she went on the wall of day 2. It's Katsuyu. A healing one. It's a slug it can summon, and she was able to summon it. And I know what you're thinking. Naruto could summon Gamobunta early on, but he never really did it that much. I mean, we all know he was able to do it for a lot longer, but remember, he is an Uzumaki and is the Jinchuriki of the Nightingale. He has unbelievable amounts of chakra. Quite frankly, he probably has the most chakra out of anyone we've ever seen. I would say his is more than Minato, his is definitely more than Kakashi, and I would say he would be on the level of around Madara and Hashirama. Now, people are saying, oh, he's not that level, and people say Naruto without the QB is useless, without Kurama. He's not. I think without them, he would have reached Hashirama and Madara level because he has that much chakra, and you can see he's a prodigy. He invented the Rasen Shuriken. Anyway, so that's just like he can reach that level, and they can fight for days upon end a tough battle. But that isn't all she was able to do. When she went on the front line, she summoned Katsuyu and was able to help heal people on the front lines instead of at the back. She was, instead of her medical station, she was there healing them. And she even pushed forward using her summons and using that regeneration that you saw not so long ago Tsunade used against Madara. And she was able to survive getting cut in half and stabbed by a Susanoo. That's how badass that is. And the only other person we know who has that is Tsunade, one of the legendary Sanin, Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, and Sakura's able to. And I would say she was probably just below Tsunade level during the War Arc, and in Boruto she ends up being past Tsunade level. But we're not going to talk about that because she doesn't really appear, and it's not really much in it. Also, now yet again, doing all that is amazing, but yet again, Naruto was able to share part of his chakra and the Nine-Tails chakra with their whole shinobi force to help everyone, But I'd say probably the most important thing she did is, yes, healing all those others, is keeping Naruto alive when the QB was ripped from him, when Kurama was ripped from him, because he would die. And without him, there was no way they could win the war. Oh, don't forget, she also has the balls to go up against Madara. Now, we see a few shinobi have the balls to go up against Madara and they all die. She got stabbed right through the middle, but she had that regeneration thing in, so it didn't kill her. But the balls on her to think she could even stand a chance against 10 Tails Chinchuriki Modera, Jubito Modera. She had no chance, but she tried, and you know, I think if they came up with an actual strategy and not just running, maybe she could have done something. And let's not forget the big old whack she gave to Kaguya. So is she useless during it? No, I would say she's probably in the top end of the shinobi there. I would say the Kages are above her, like not the current Kages. I would say she's around current Kage level, just below the current Kage. So in terms of power, it goes Sasuke and Naruto on the good side. Then you have Hashirama. Then you would have the other Kage, the other like Hokage, Minato, Tobirama, Hiruzen. I think they are all, you know, you could all argue for them. And then it would be the current Kage. No, I'd say then it would be Kakashi, then current Kage, then her. So she's still up there with good names. So she's definitely not useless. Now, most people don't like her because she made fun of an orphan to another orphan. She constantly bullied Naruto, but anytime she was ever at all, you know, even had anyone slightly rude to her, she would get all upset and all that and not realize it. And to be honest, part one, like Sakura, pre-Shippuden Sakura, I hated. I generally disliked her. But since Shippuden started, I preferred her over Sakura, but she's over Sasuke, but she's still. The big real is she didn't really do anything majorly impactful. She beat Sasori, she healed Naruto, she punched Kaguya, she got stabbed by Madara, and she healed the Shinobi. Those aren't small feats, but compared to the feats of her teammates, Kakashi, her team leader, Naruto and Sasuke, she didn't achieve as much. And quite frankly, she should have done more, but that's less on her and more on the writing. But anyway, so is she useless? No, she is 100% not useless in Shippuden at all, especially after the war arc. Why people think it's a meme is because they just don't like her, because she's a bit of a rude word, insult, rude word here. Anyway, but you get the idea. But and obviously, you know, she's a terrible person, but she is not useless. And also she's compared to. Anyway, thank you all guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you think Sakura is useless. Now, I believe I have videos coming up, but they take like time to do research. So they might take a week. Those are verses, those are lyric pranks in quotations, I guess you can call it. Like you can just Google like My Hero Academia lyric pranks. I'm doing those for My Hero Academia, Naruto, and Percy Jackson, and etc. I believe if I don't have a video like those ready for next week, I'll probably do is Naruto useless without Kurama. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Camp Geek Squad. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want me to do any type of video, whatever it is, as long as it's somewhat weeby, geeky, nerdy. Hence Camp Geek Squad. This is where all the geeks gather, right? Also, please help me hit 200 by the end of summer, and I'll do whatever I promised a few videos ago, and I will make sure I remember by next week. What that is, just in case. Anyway, bye.